Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakudash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. This is your brother Dawadah from the Men of Valor campaign in Greenville, South Carolina, coming back with another video in sincerity and in truth, and Lord willing, it can be edifying. And tomorrow, all right, today is Friday. All right, I believe it's the 17th. All right, tomorrow is October the 18th, Saturday, and there's another No Kings protesting fascists and the Trump administration. All right, because let's call a spade a spade. He definitely is taking over the country, but of course his allegiance is still to Israel. So there's going to be millions upon millions. That's what they're claiming. Millions upon millions of people protesting tomorrow. And, we know that, a lot of brothers camp on Saturdays. You already know what the deal is. Walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days really are evil. All right. We're in bad times. We're already seeing videos of ICE everywhere. You got the National Guard that's been deployed. Gonna have local law enforcement, and you gonna have agent provocateurs out there. Now I don't know. People are saying that he's gonna use tomorrow as to invoke the Insurrection Act. That's yet to be seen. We'll see. It's all up to the Lord. All right, it's up to Yahweh Shah Shah. If he wants to lock this place on down, all right, then the Lord gonna put it in Trump's spirit. Proverbs 21:1, the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So, if that be the case, then, hey, let the chips fall where they may. But either way, just a precautionary measure, to the body. All right, you don't want to do anything to get the ministry blamed. You really don't want to be a part of that. All right, we're not here to try to better America. We're here to teach his word, to preach his gospel, this gospel of the kingdom, to tell our people, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, to wake up. All right, the Lord is about to destroy this place. All right, we're not going to do anything. We're going to continue to, do what we've been doing, preaching his word. All right, and fishing for the elect, so to speak. But you're going to have millions of people take to the streets. All right, because they feel that their country's being taken over, and really they already too late. But, that's what they're protesting. OK, but hey, the Lord said these, to watch out for these things. All right, and let's get this, quick hit, not a long video at all. This is 2 Esdras chapter 9 and verse 1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself. And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. And another more proof that the Lord is visiting the world which he made, he has the angels out, in the chariots. And Marco Rubio just confirmed that there's been chariots, which they call UFO or UAPs, that have been around these nuclear power plants, man. Interesting enough, but nonetheless, we're measuring the times. We're seeing what's going on in the world, and we're linking it to prophecy. Just like this guy Trump, he's proven, that he is that cruel Lord in Isaiah the 19th chapter. That the Lord said he was going to give these people, the Egyptians, over to a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall reign over them. All right, and ironically enough, these protests are called No Kings protests. All right, Trump is the king. His title might be president, but the way he's restructured the government, the government is shut down right now. The way he has ICE in his pocket, the way he has the military in his pocket. All right, he, and now he's going to demonize anybody that comes up against him. Again, he labeled Antifa a domestic terrorist organization. And I was just watching a TikTok, Antifa isn't even a group. It's an ideology. Anybody that's against the Trump regime, they can deem you somebody that's in Antifa, and it can incur heavy penalty. They might try to lump us in there, and charge us with sedition. We'll see. But all these things happening, we know that, we're in the end times. Verse 3, it says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes, and we see earthquakes everywhere, man. in diverse places, like Yahweh Shah said. It says, and uproars of the people in the world. Over the past months, man, all these different countries, some countries have overthrown their parliament. It doesn't make major American news, because Americans are just, they don't think about nobody but themselves. But, like countries like Nepal, they went and sacked the parliament building, set that shit on fire. France always popping off. Remember, had the Canadian protests a couple years ago. And then you got these. You had the May Day protests where millions were protesting Trump because Trump pissing everybody off. He pissing the Americans off. He's pissing his allies off. He's pissing these other countries off with these tariffs that are fucking up the economy. He's doing all of this. And once again, this is all the doing of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. The Lord is moving, this God to make these different moves so that prophecy can be fulfilled. So now we're seeing uproars and earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. All right. Once again, tomorrow you're going to have millions of people take to the streets. We're going to see it. When you get on YouTube, when you get on X, you're going to see these people in droves. And once again, you already have ICE on the ground, and you have the National Guard that's been deployed in some of these major blue cities. So we'll see what comes of that, man. Because all hell could break loose, but also be prepared for nothing necessarily to break out. Either way, that divide is still growing in America. The Lord said he would set the Egyptian against the Egyptian. The Lord said that if Satan be divided against himself, how then can his kingdom stand? So either way, it's a good sign for us, man. Whether all hell breaks loose tomorrow or whatever, Trump is still doing what he gonna do. These people, they ain't, eventually they're gonna stand up in that second Esdras and 15 spirit, with swords in their hands. But as of right now, they ain't really hitting on shit. Okay. It says, verse 4, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. Why? Because the Lord declares the end from the beginning. Because this is the Lord's movie. Verse 5, for like as all that is made in the world have a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest. So, hey, we in them times. Verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings and wonders and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. So we're seeing those endings and effects and signs. We see the signs in the sun and in the moon, the solar eclipses, lunar eclipses, blood moons. You got to think about it, too. We're in October, man. This is a very demonic time for these damn devils, man. So they're going to be heavy with their enchantments. All right, so we're going to see what comes of this, man. But I just wanted to, put that message out. Of course, that goes without saying, to walk with wisdom. The Lord Yahweh Shah said, behold, I send you forth as sheep in the midst of wolves. Be ye therefore wise as serpents and harmless as doves. All right. Especially to the Akim that may be out there, preaching on the highways and hedges tomorrow. You're going to have these other camps, man, that they're going to do what they're going to do. But, the Lord is protecting his men. All right. That's doing it the right way. All right. So just walk circumspectly. But with that, only give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Makakodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well